Hello folks, my name is Kyle Thompson and welcome to my series on the Quiet Revival, the growth of young people coming to churches and how music relates to that. And my guest for this episode is Gillian.
Hi.
Gillian, thank you so much for coming on. Obviously it's fantastic for you being here, but can you tell the audience what your experience is with the church in general?
So I worked in this building for 12 and a half years. My background was very mixed. One granny was Church of Scotland, the other granny was Roman Catholic, so whatever granny you stayed with, that's where you went. So it was a very mixed bag growing up.
There you go. And what kind of work did you do during these roles?
When I worked here, I did all sorts of things. Initially, it was mainly admin, but over the years, the role grew quite drastically, and I basically did all sorts of community work, groups, hall lates. There was still an administrative aspect of it, but a lot more community-based stuff as well.
Wow. So just to kick this off, in your opinion, do people still encounter faith through community organisations like charities rather than just church services, do you think?
I think I think everything's developed and grown quite a lot. Churches obviously are nowhere near as busy as they used to be. We're definitely seeing diminishing numbers, which is really sad. But I think the community groups and charities that are out there that actually give people a different aspect and a different opportunity to find faith is an absolute blessing. And I think we're really lucky to have what we have within this area.
Mm-hmm. And have you noticed any changes with how people engage with religion? Because obviously different generations have different feelings towards this. So what were your opinions on that?
I think it's really difficult because, fundamentally at the end of the day, what Christianity boils down to is trying to be the best person that you can be with regards to forgiveness and empathy and love and compassion and just trying to be a decent human being. There's things, the message gets really mixed up in all different religions, but fundamentally what it boils down to is try and be a good person and try and love each other and treat people the way you would hope to be treated. For me, when you boil it down, that's really what it's all about.
I agree. I really do. Yeah. And does music ever play a role when you did outreach or community work that you were involved in? Does music play any part of that, or if not, then that's fine?
I think it definitely does. When I initially started in the church, we used to do Messy Mondays along at Linthouse, and there was always some music there. Obviously, when Moyna was here, one of her sons used to come along with his partner, and they used to do wee music groups. When back in the day, we used to have all the wee tambourines and everything out, and the kids absolutely love that. I think music definitely plays a massive impact on religion. Most people who went to Sunday school or were brought up in Sunday school, if you start tapping out a wee song, they will join in because all the old classics, it's embodied in your brain. You can't help it.
Mm-hmm. And can music help communicate a faith that feels a bit more accessible than other forms of, like sermons and all that stuff?
I think now it's so much easier for people to gain a platform because of social media and everything. Now there's amazing music out there, and sometimes if you're not even listening to faith music, you're listening to normal music, some of the words really affect people deeply, and there's some beautiful music and songs out there, and I think it definitely uplifts people. Music is an amazing way to connect with people on another level.
Mm-hmm. And we kind of already answered this, but do you think that children respond strongly to music or singing in like school settings as well? Because obviously you were an assistant in a primary school, I believe.
Yeah.
That's right. So when you were like seeing assemblies and stuff like that, did you see that music was good for the kids?
Absolutely. Children can only sit and listen for so long.
Yes.
You crack on a tune that they know and love, they're up on their feet, they're boogieing, they're waving their hands, they're singing along. It's an opportunity where they're not told to sit and be quiet and listen. It's an opportunity where they're told to join in, have fun, and let the music uplift you. So 100%.
Yeah. And do you think these early experiences of music can help shape how young people later engage with the church, do you think? Like with singing, being within a community, etc.?
I definitely think music plays a massive aspect, even if you're not looking at it from a faith perspective. Music brings people together. And if you can do that in a church setting or in an environment that is giving a positive message to children or to everybody and anybody, then it's definitely a good thing.
Yeah. And do you think that music can help create a sense of belonging within communities, do you think? Obviously, you've seen that here, but elsewhere.
Um, I'm trying to think of an actual experience and I can't think of an actual experience, but I'm sure there would be. Like, I worked also in the Child and Family Centre along at Linthouse for Glasgow City Mission, and there was always little songs. The toddler groups used to do little songs. The wee after school clubs used to have songs that they sang. I think that was also from a faith perspective. But even just nursery rhymes for kids, they love it.
Yeah. I
They
mean, I used to
definitely
love
love
it.
it.
Yeah. And do you think that music can bring, obviously, people together through different backgrounds as well?
Yeah, because singing just uplifts you. And, like, you've got, take when Elsie takes the services, Elsie encourages everybody to get up. She's always got something that's got movements in it, and if you don't know them, she'll teach you them. So I think it doesn't matter what background you come from. If the music is uplifting, it's giving you a positive message, and you can get them to do a bit of boogie into it, then it absolutely brings everybody together. Because it makes you smile, it makes you happy. Even people who feel awkward in themselves or a bit rigid can't help but getting a bit of a groove on. So definitely.
I've seen that firsthand, and
Absolutely. And sometimes you're like, woof, maybe not. But it definitely brings people together and it makes people happy.
Yeah. And do you think that is still an important part of Christian identity today, music, would you say?
Definitely. Every church you go into, there's music. Obviously, different churches do it in a different way. But I don't think I've ever been to a church where there's not been music and singing. I don't think I've ever been to any kind of religious gathering, group, meeting where there hasn't been some kind of aspect of singing. So absolutely.
Yeah. And obviously, younger generations are engaging with Christianity differently. Do you think that it'll continue? Do you think?
I would hope and pray with all my heart that it continues, because without children, the churches, without children, churches don't really have a future, and that's heartbreaking to think that. So I would hope with all my heart and pray with all my heart that children would continue to engage in church. It's difficult. My kids were little; they were here every single week. They get to an age where you can't make them
Yeah, you can't
come,
make them come
and
over.
all you can do is hope that what you've embedded as a child loops back, and that they want to come back later on in life.
Yeah. And do you think that there may be any signs of a so-called cry of revival coming amongst young people? Not just in this church, obviously, but in like various other churches that you've seen or heard online.
I think everybody, regardless of who you are or what background you've come from, I think everybody wants to belong to something. Everybody wants to be part of something, and everybody wants to have like an additional family. Like for my kids, even though they don't come here every week anymore, don't come very often at all, but this is their church family.
Yeah.
And if the minute they walk through those doors, they would be greeted with warm hugs and, oh my goodness, look how much you've grown and look how tall you are. And this is their church family. And they have very, very fond memories of all of the time that they've spent here. So I can only hope and pray that they'll come back. But definitely, I think people want to belong and want to be part of something. And if you can make that space warm and welcoming, then hopefully that encourages them to come back.
Yeah.
and to be part of it. So I really hope so.
Mm-hmm. And my final question for you, in your experience, what role do you think music plays in connecting people to faith today? Whether it's normal hymns that you've seen,
Excuse me.
it's all right, normal hymns, or like contemporary songs that you see sometimes in here in the church.
As I think I've already said, music connects people on all sorts of different levels. Um, and I think it's something that needs to be encouraged and needs to be promoted, which it is. And as I said, people have all different platforms now to get music out that they didn't have before.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think music's
Yeah.
massive for all of us.
Yeah, Gillian, thank you so much for doing this.
Thanks, Kyle.
Thank you so much for watching, and have a good rest of your day. Bye bye for now.
Bye.